So Bernard, we'll be starting soon. We are just trying to connect live, and then I'll let you know when we can.
Wonderful.
We'll go. Okay. So Bernard, because you told me you were going to come at 4, we moved the live to 4:05. So
It's
for the
fine.
next 2 minutes. Okay.
I'm very cool.
All right. Great.
Bisa Tete? Yes, sir.
Okay, Bernard. We are ready to go. We are live. So good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining this live stream. Today is going to be a great day. We're going to have some nice conversations with our guest today. So this is all about the Church Media Summit. That is organized or brought to you by Theovision International, Phil Cook Media, Influence Lab, and Perez Chapel International. And this summit is for church media professionals, media teams, Christian content creators, writers, nonprofit communication teams, and anyone in the media space. So if you are interested in media, this Church Media Summit is for you. So the training sessions are going to cover areas such as media and ethics, acting for TV and film, photography, videography, producing for live streaming, and so much more. The date is August 15th to August 17th, 2024 at the Perez Dome, Accra, Ghana. So if you are joining us for this live stream, this is going to be a great summit you have to be a part of. And leading to the event, we've been talking to facilitators. And we have one great man who has been in the media space for a long time. And he's going to tell us a little bit about himself. So as you join in, make sure you click the link in the chat box to register now. Hello, Bernard. Good to have you on this call. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Hello, Philip. Good evening.
Yeah, good evening. You know, some people call you Bernardino. I don't know where that name came from, but can you
It
tell
came
us a
from my
little bit
dad.
about yourself, Bernard?
So it's funny. My dad named me after San Bernardino of Siena because I was born on
Oh,
20th May and he was Catholic. So he used to name his kids based on the patron saints of the Catholic calendar. So San Bernardino of Siena was alive in the 15th century in Italy. And my dad named me Bernardino. And incidentally, San Bernardino
oh,
was a preacher, an economist, and also a public relations person. He was actually he's the patron saint for PR. And I somehow I studied economics. I do a bit of preaching and I'm also in journalism. So be careful what name you give your
wow.
kids.
Wow, that's
Yeah,
great. That's a great history. I
yeah,
didn't know that. So thank you for giving me
yeah.
that history. So how did you get into media? Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Bernard? You've given us a little bit history on
Yeah.
how Bernardino came, but who is Bernard? Who is Bernard Avle?
So thank you. I'm very happy to be here. Good evening, everybody. I am delighted that Theovision is partnering for the Church Media Summit. It's a great event. Looking forward to it. I've been in media since I was 19 or 20 years old. I entered the university in the year 2000 and I stumbled into radio because in my first year I was invited to do a debate on a radio show on the campus radio station which allegedly I lost. According to the judges, I lost the debate, but I believe I won. I still believe I won the debate. And after the debate, the station manager said he liked my arguments and he thought if I wanted to be a journalist, he could train me. So in my first year, in the second semester, I volunteered as a broadcaster for Radio Universe. And for the next 3.5 years, I was in training as a volunteer broadcast journalist. And when I finished university in 2004, which is 20 years ago, Citi FM, where I work now, was just about to start. So I was recruited straight from school as a national service person for Citi FM.
Wow.
Incidentally, around this month, because as I speak to you, national service people are applying to be posted. So in
Right.
July of 2004, I applied and Citi FM took me as a national service person as a broadcast journalist. And 20 years later, here I am, still working with Citi,
Wow.
uh, from national service to general manager. And now I host a TV
Wow.
show as well, but it's been quite a journey. So I've been in media professionally for 20 years, but altogether for almost 24 years.
Yes. Wow. Great. It's interesting how you entered into media. That's exciting to
Yeah.
know. And
Yeah.
you also host one of the influential breakfast shows here in Ghana. Can
Yeah.
you tell us a little bit about it? I know the breakfast show, you do a lot of, awareness creation, you
Yeah.
do a lot of
Yeah.
information, so tell us a little bit about the breakfast show that you host as well.
Yeah. Thanks. So look, when I got into Citi, I was a journalist in the newsroom, and then I became the producer of the Citi Breakfast Show. So my first job was to produce the
Oh,
show,
wow.
which I did for some months. And then the host travels, and then I sit in to host it, and they thought I was good, even though I was so young, and I've been at it for all these years. The Citi Breakfast Show is like for radio in Ghana, the morning show is the biggest show. So that for
Mm,
radio in the morning is big because on the morning drive, people want to listen to what's happening. And in Ghana,
Mm,
we are a talking community. We have oral history. We have an oral culture. Even our chiefs speak
mm,
through linguists. So in Ghana,
mm,
one of evidence that you're well cultured is how you speak in the court. And the media
mm,
is the public space. So what if in traditional society, thinking and this discourse happens in the courts. So the morning show becomes where we interview the politicians, where we discuss the big stories for the day, where we review the news, and where we ask the hard questions, where we tell people what to expect in the day. And so for a radio station, your morning show host is your most important talent. So you're trained very well.
mm,
So I've been trained by Citi for years. You get the best bits of the news, because the whole news team, they work so that the show pushes the main agenda for the day. My show is different.
mm,
One of the reasons why the Citi Breakfast Show stood out, number one, the grace of God. We approach media from Citi, from a kingdom perspective. We are salt and light. And my definition of journalism is the search for truth. Journalism
mm,
is the search for truth. So
mm,
I met in 2014. I was in the US and I was privileged to have listened to the great Bob Woodward. Bob Woodward is one of the two journalists who are noted for the Watergate scandal. So in journalism, Bob Woodward is Ivy League. Yeah.
mm.
And
Top.
he said journalists look for the best verifiable version of the truth. Now that
Mm,
hits me in many ways because that is true even in journalism, but that's also true in faith because I say journalism is the search for truth and Christ is the truth and he left us the spirit of truth. And the Bible
mm,
says we can do nothing against the truth. He actually says to buy the truth. So for me, there is no disconnect between the profession in its purest form and my faith in pursuit of truth. So it's a
wow.
meeting point for me. It's powerful. So when I get on air in the morning and I'm doing those interviews, I'm looking for truth. When I do the newspaper reviews, I'm looking for truth. When I
Mm,
do those editorials, I'm looking for truth. And you know, Christianity, truth is both a concept and a person because Christ is the truth. So we work in media as believers in kingdom to come to the light because it says for everyone who
mm,
does truth comes to the light. So that you can't dissociate light from truth, right?
mm,
And he is the light. So it's really interesting. So we shine light on issues. Journalism is another great journalist said, sunlight is the best disinfectant. So journalism believes in shining the light, right? So you pick issues that have been ignored. Women are being abused or corruption. We are gatekeepers, we are watchdogs, we are scorekeepers. So part of our job is to shine lights. So maybe neglected school projects or
mm,
taboo topics
mm,
that require national discourse or just holding government accountable or making citizens know what they're supposed to do. So that's the light part of what you so journalism is light and truth. And as a Christian, it's a very important charge because he says we are the light of the world and we are a
mm.
city set on a hill. We cannot be moved. We cannot be hidden. So we are prominent so we can expose. So it's a great show. It's a great responsibility. And we approach it with humility, but with a lot of courage because people fight the truth. There are many
That's right.
societies that claim to love the truth, but in fact, Pilate asked the everlasting question, what is truth? You know, and
Yeah.
Christ says, well, he didn't say an answer, but I'm sure the answer is he's standing in front of you. You know what I'm saying? So it's a great show, and I urge people to tune in Mondays to Fridays, 6:20 to 10 a.m. We also have a podcast, and it's a group work. So I have a team of 4 or 5. We come in the morning, we have fun, we laugh, but we also take on very serious issues. So Phil, that's what I do.
Wow, wow, it's exciting. It's exciting to hear what you do. I listen to the breakfast show myself, and what you are saying is very, very true. You know, how you come on air and search for truth. And I like the way you
Yes.
linked it to being a believer and a Christian, So it's amazing to hear your story. But Bernard, for the Church Media Summit, you're going to talk about media and ethics. Media and ethics. I want you to just, what should people expect in your session, media and ethics, and why should people come for this summit to come for your session as well? Yeah.
Thank you, Phil. So the question of ethics is really a very important question because it's actually a question of leadership. So I see what we do in the media as part of leadership. The real problem of humanity is a leadership problem, where if
Mm,
societies don't live up to potential, it's because leaders are failing. So to build a society, you need both you see the external, the hardware of buildings and roads and all the infrastructure. But beneath that is the software of the values, the mindsets, the mores. Now, my argument is that it's the software that creates the hardware. So to build society, you
mm,
need strong culture, respect for truth, values, integrity, sacrifice, all of these things that build society. So the ethics dimension is most people, when they see a problem, they think they have to create new laws. So too many people are dying on our roads by accident. So let's tighten the road regulations. Too much corruption. So let's make more laws. But
mm,
you can be perfectly legal but still be wrong because
mm,
people people can be unfair, people can be rude but lawful. So the law courts are not necessarily the place where you get full justice. Christ says all things are lawful, but not all things are expedient. All things are lawful, but not all things are helpful. So that means that
mm,
while the law is the external written code, ethics is the invisible guide of action. So a lot of times, ethics start where law ends.
mm,
So what we're saying is you can be a so for example, you can have an interview with somebody and report what the person said. That is factual. That may be true. That may be lawful. But depending on the context and the emphasis, your report may be factual but unethical. The way you got the information, you may get true information, but if you got it unlawfully, it's still not ethical to publish it. You follow me? So ethics is first the unseen, but ethics is also beginning where law ends. But ethics, I believe, is
mm.
as important, if not more important, than just legal. So because Ghana has a lot of laws. So you can
Yeah.
have a country with a lot of laws, but there's no justice because people behave unethically. So for me,
Mm,
journalists who say they are looking for truth, the media space, which is the marketplace and the court for discourse, the shining of light, there must be a certain restraint on the way we work, and that's ethics. Ethics. So if you
mm,
read Matthew 5, where Christ says, where Christ lays out the way kingdom life is to be, he goes beyond the law. He says, you've heard it said, love your
mm,
friends and hate your enemies. But I say to thee,
mm.
right? So he's basically saying that the law is not enough because the law only shows that you're corrupt, but it's the
Yeah.
internal change. So I will link ethics to how Christ works from us from inside out because law works from outside in, but ethics work from inside out. So in the same way, the law was given to Moses outside in, but grace and truth come from Christ within. You see,
Mm,
so for me, again, there's no disconnect between my work in faith and my focus on ethics. So it's a discussion. I don't want to come and preach to people. In our society, we see a lot of injustice. We see things not corrected. I think the session will the group will discuss how we can be ethical in our work.
mm,
Because the challenge of the continent is a lack of ethical leadership. And it's not
mm,
just a continental problem. Even the US,
mm,
look at what is before them, right? some people think we have a choiceless democracy where
Mm.
you have two people of the same mother but different fathers. You get the point. So they have different symbols, but essentially there's no equity. So I think media has a role to play in the way we fact check people, but we must do it ethically, in the way we report on stories. So it's a very important discussion, which goes to how effective it can be, because the only thing we have as media is our credibility.
Mm.
And if that credibility is gone, everything else is gone. So I'm hoping to have a discussion in that breakout session on ethics, not to pontificate and tell people what to do, but to open the issues up for us to understand our challenge and to also ask for wisdom in knowing how to manage our life.
Wow, great, great. So if you're now joining us, we are talking to Bernard Avle, who is the general manager of Citi FM and Channel One TV. And Bernard Avle is going to be one of the facilitators. And if you're now joining us, he's talking about what to expect at the Church Media Summit. And he's going to be taking a session on media and ethics. And he's just explaining why you should be at that session. So if you're now joining us, the Church Media Summit will be happening from the 15th to the 17th of August, 2024 at the Perez Dome Chapel, Accra, Ghana. So if you're not in Ghana, take note. It's going to be at the Perez Dome at Jolu, Accra, Ghana. And it's for Christian content creators, ministry leaders, nonprofit communication teams, anyone in the media space. This summit is for you. It's a 3-day intensive workshop. And as Bernard said, his session is going to be a discussion session. So you are not going to be bombarded with information, but you're actually going to discuss and learn together. And that's what the Church Media Summit is going to present to you. Bernard, any final words for people who are wondering, should I register? Should I come for the Church Media Summit? What do you have to say to them?
Well, Phil, thank you. I'm looking forward to the Church Media Summit myself. I read the profiles of some of the speakers and I'm like, whoa, these are high level people coming in. I think it's a very good opportunity for all media to come and learn from the best. I think there are the technical sessions around editing, content creation, which I feel will really benefit the media in Ghana. And of course, the discussions around marketing, PR, and those things as well, very important. And of course, the breakout sessions. So, look, you can only go as far with the level of knowledge you have. I think the more you interact with other kinds of knowledge and experience, you get to do better. So I think even with media, not just church, if you're just a media practitioner who wants to gain more insight, learn
Yeah,
from
yeah,
jurisdictions, learn from the best, register, come in, and this will be done in a kingdom fashion, Christ-centered media, because media is like fire, right? It's value neutral. You can use media to build, you can use media to destroy. So if media is in the hands of the wrong people, it can be a very destructive tool. So we need to work together as people who are people of faith in media to really give Christ the glory and to extend the kingdom mandate, because our job is to be light and salt. We are the salt of the other light of us. So register, come in, let's have a big conversation, and let's network as well. And thanks, Phil, Theovision. Really grateful for this opportunity.
yeah, Bernard, it's great to have you on board. Thank you for sharing your heart with us. And I'm sure those of you who are listening, I'm sure you are energized and excited to attend the Church Media Summit. God bless you, Bernard, and we are looking forward to have you at the Church Media Summit from August 15th to August 17th, 2024. God bless you and hope to see you soon, Bernard. Have a great day.
Thank you, Theo. Phil, have a great one. Bye.
Bye.